Chapter 4.444 Angel's News by Sky. Angel sat quietly on a chair covered in jungle vine. A multicoloured toucan nuzzled at her neck and a python slithered around her body. Angel didn't even blink. Blizzard looked quite at home on his volcano chair, swathed in planets and stars which appeared to be burning to pieces in the heat. I wondered if I was dreaming when a large silver moon orbited straight out of Blizzard's chair and zoomed across the room to plummet into the dense vines surrounding Angel. "Before I tell you my news," said Angel, "is everyone on an enchanted chair? Minnow, darling, come, sit. It's important that we have this discussion while we're under the protection of enchantment." Minnow and Darling sat on a chair made entirely from fruit. Nestled together, they looked seriously cute. "We need to stay safe," said Angel. "There might be spies, I'm sad to say. Just one is enough. If they're lurking, they won't be able to penetrate the magic of the enchanted chairs." "What about Magal?" I asked loudly, remembering the importance of being confident at Mareskamar. "Is his wheelchair enchanted?" "I converted it," said Jax. "Magal needs all the magic he can get." Magal scowled. "Some people are overprotective," he said, as his chair launched several holographic skyrockets up towards the ceiling. "Some people are a touch too cavalier," said Jax, in an arch tone. She was on a wintry chair covered in ice, her dark hair shining against the white. Jax was surrounded by bizarre creatures. One was a cross between a seal and a mermaid. There were also strange dolphins with little legs and platypus bills. On her lap was a penguin who looked just like a rockhopper, but instead of yellow feathers on his head, he had pink ones. "Aren't you cold?" asked Frank. "Not at all," said Jax. "This is one of my favourite dreamscapes. My mother's an ice witch in the land of ice and fire. I love the cold, and this little guy is based on my pet at home, Paladin." The penguin said, "Hello, I'm called Paladin too." Frank found Jax's voice mesmerising. We later learned that all ice witches have voices that can lead you into a trance. "Now to my news," said Angel, looking directly at me. "I know a bit more about Jemima's whereabouts. Well, sort of." "Really?" I asked. "Yes," said Angel. "She was captured by some of Isla's Dezgul, but now it appears that they've lost her." "Lost her?" I asked, my heart sinking. "This is good news," said Blizzard. "Good?" asked Ben. "Sky needs Jemima back or she can't be put together again. How can you say that Jem being lost is good?" Chapter 4.4444 The Penguin's Advice by Sky. I felt as if I was going to cry. Ben ran across to join me on my chair, and Six turned back into her human form and looked morose. "What I mean," said Angel, "is that at least Jem is not with the cruel Dezgul or with the thieves." "That has to be good," said Blizzard. Angel nodded. "With Sky here at Mareskamar, we can track Jemima together, using Sky's skills. You've already seen her twice, haven't you?" "Only in visions," I said. "Doesn't matter," said Magal. "We'll definitely be able to track Jemima with your help once we go out into the Noesis." I nodded. "You just need to stay alert," said Jax. "If you stay sharp, you'll be led in the right direction by a combination of your intuition and the know-how of the Noesis." Paladin stood tall on Jax's lap. "Don't fear the evil that's taken Jem," he said, his penguin eyes looking kind. "That's not wise at all." I started to cry, but blinking through my tears, I smiled at Paladin, amazed to be accepting advice from a penguin with pink head feathers. Jax gave me his handkerchief. "Definitely don't worry," she said. "We know far more about the time game than Isla Thief does, or the time virus for that matter. Minnow nodded in agreement with Jax. "We do," she said. "I know we do." Angel agreed. The time game was invented at Mareskimar many moons ago, and we control it, so that's a huge advantage. Frank let out a long whistle. "So good," he said. Blizzard looked serious. "Managing time is like playing the most complicated computer game you've ever known, with thousands upon thousands of levels, and all of them need your attention at the same time. It's like a multi-dimensional maze." "Whoa," said Frank. Blizzard continued. "The maze is a bit like the one inside the pinball machine in your game, except that ours has countless more tunnels and walls, and if it becomes broken, it can throw a real life off course, not just the life of one of your characters." Frank and Minnow nodded. "All of those thousands of little tunnels and levels are just for one living creature," said Angel. "Imagine how difficult it is for our time wizards to look after several universes at once, all of them full of living things. The time virus could cause a disaster if it sent every living thing off track." "It will never come to that," snapped Magal, looking fierce. "We hope not," said Angel. "Can the Dezgul get into the Time Games maze?" asked Ben. "Not the one on the Islands of Time," said Blizzard, "but they can affect the link between what happens here and what happens in the life of a living creature." I frowned. "So the time virus and the thieves know when they're deliberately throwing someone's life off course?" "They do indeed," said Blizzard. Angel looked at me with so much kindness. "I'm sorry that the time virus created such a cruel storm in the life of your family." I looked down, feeling overwhelmed. Blizzard continued. "We think evil chose the Dezgul to host the time virus because they're part Minotaur, so they understand mazes very well. We think the time virus uses their knowledge to try and break the link between families and their place in the Time Games maze." We all shook our heads. "The time virus targeted you two," said Angel, "to try and stop you growing up and becoming powerful." Ben and I smiled. "Powerful," said Ben. "Sounds good." He gave me a high five. But I still felt worried about Jem. As if she'd read my mind, Angel said, "You've seen Jem twice now, and both times she was on an island." I nodded, beginning to feel a glimmer of hope. "I suppose that if I can see the island, we can find it." "Of course we can," said Magal. "I've been studying Isla's antics for a long time. She thinks I'm just an old, broken-down half an angel, but I'm on to her." "Your work is amazing," said Angel, smiling at Magal. "Huh," said Magal. "Why not ask me what I've found?" Blizzard beamed. "Magal, old friend, what have you found?" "I've plotted the exact spot from which Sky needs to depart when she leads the search into the Noesis," said Magal, looking very pleased with himself. Six squealed, "When do we go?" I nearly fell off my chair. "When I lead the search," I said. "What do you mean? I can't lead the search. I don't know where to go."